for the Tamworth game, your approach to this game, and also Rodrigo, BETANCUR, how he is.
Yeah, all right, start with, I guess, Rodrigo. Yeah, look, mostly, positive news. He obviously went to hospital after the game, was concussed. They've done every check that they needed to do, and understanding is he's gone home now, so that's real positive news for us, because obviously it was a bit of a distressing situation that everyone had to deal with. But I think the players, Pedro did a great job initially of notifying our medical team, did a great job, and so now it's just about recovery for him, obviously, and there are set protocols in place, but aside from those set protocols, we'll make sure that we give him as much time as he needs to get back. And then aside from that, nothing coming out of the other night. Everyone sort of got through that pretty well, and no one really coming back in from the guys who have sort of been absent. So there'll be apart from Pape and Matters who are available.
It felt like a real statement win the other night. You saw at the end the final whistle, that connection with the fans and the players and yourself on the pitch again. How much did everyone around the club just need that, just as a way of proof that this is what this team is capable of?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about proof, but I think reward is important, because we're going. I don't think one win changes anything, but we've been through a pretty tough time, and as I said all along, not through the want of trying. I mean, I can't commend the players highly enough in terms of their efforts. They've been giving maximum every week, but obviously without the ultimate reward. And I said after the game, not just players, the staff who doing everything in their power to sort of change our fortunes, and our supporters have obviously sort of had to ride through that as well. So just that feeling of you get after a win, and like I said, a significant win against a top team, and in a pretty pivotal game for us in terms of keeping our hopes alive of making to a cup final. It was important, and that kind of stuff sort of fuels hopefully what's ahead.
It's quite a contrast to the next competition. You played one of the best teams around at the moment in Liverpool, now coming up against a non-league team at their pitch. How important is it that everybody has their attitude spot on for a game like that, in terms of the mentality needed? The Premier League clubs up there as a scalp for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got no doubt the attitude of the players. I think all along they've always had a great understanding of every game's importance, and we certainly will go into Sunday's game with the same sort of mindset of making sure that we do things we can control, play our football, put a real big emphasis on the things that we do really well, because there's always challenges out there. There's a fair difference in terms of the levels of football we're playing at, but I'm sure Tamworth see this as a great opportunity for themselves, and we've got to be ready for that.
Have you done anything different with your preparation, given the fact that it's an artificial pitch? Does that change anything?
Yeah, we'll train on artificial tomorrow on one of ours. I've done that consistently throughout my career. I've kind of experienced a few times in different leagues, even up in Scotland, where you're playing on artificial pitches, and it always sort of served a good purpose, just to give the players an understanding. They're never always identical, but just what they're going to face on Sunday. So we'll have a session on the artificial here tomorrow. Thanks, Paul.
Hi, Ange. How you doing?
I'm good, mate.
You must be relieved there's no VAR in this game. The last couple of games you've had with VAR, and your comments about it both before and after games.
Yeah.
You are relieved. I mean,
was that the question? Am I relieved?
No,
yeah.
Sort of question leading into giving an answer.
And my answer is
yeah, maybe.
No, I didn't say yeah, maybe. I said yeah. You asked me if I'm relieved. I said yes. So it's kind of...
How relieved are you then?
No, just look. Again.
Well, how fed up with VAR?
No. Look, I'm not going to go. Look, I had my say after the game, and I felt I had to, because I needed to clarify my position on it. But at the same time, I'm also mindful, and I think sometimes I've overstepped the mark. Is that in some of those situations, I talk as an individual, as a person who, loves the game, is passionate about the game, but I'm also representative of this football club, and I'm just going to be careful about how much I talk about this. I'd rather talk about football, to be honest, and I think I've had my say on kind of those kind of events, and I've left it, you know, to other people to judge. But you know, I'd much rather talk about the football. That's where my interest lay.
So we're talking about the FA Cup, and obviously it's a bit different this season. I mean, it started last night on Thursday, goes right through to Monday. It's like a whole weekend. Do you think, as an outsider, in terms of being from Australia, do you think that we're losing the tradition of the FA Cup?
Oh, look, I don't know, but you know, I still think it's a really important competition, and for that particular reason, because it includes pretty much every tier of football, and you know, it's there's always great storylines within it. Already there has been in the early rounds of the cup, where we're meeting one of the sides that got through to the main rounds, and you know, I still think, you know, FA Cup final days, you know, one of the sort of marquee days in the football calendar, global football calendar. So I still feel like, you know, I certainly feel like it's a really, you know, like I said, important and you know, tournament that maintains, you know, the right kinds of traditions, and certainly in my eyes I still see it as a really important part of the football calendar.
We've lost replays now, so there's no chance of Tamworth holding out for 90 minutes and getting a dream return at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But I guess for most neutrals, they always want the underdog to win. So how do you go into a game on Sunday whereby, with respect, you've probably got nothing to win out of the game? You win 5-0, people go, should have won 5-0, they're a National League team. If you lose, everyone's going to pummel you, and actually probably most people in the country would like you to lose because of the story.
Yeah, but you know, while you say there's nothing for us to win, there is something for us to win. We get into the next round of the FA Cup, so there is a prize there. And there, you know, we may not get the plaudits, but we do get the opportunity to go into the hat. So that doesn't change irrespective. Look, we won't be going into this game with any other mindset than preparing as we always do for a game of football, respecting the opponent, because you always need to respect the opponent. I've had enough experiences in my life of you know, being the underdog, and I know that, you know, you're kind of always hoping that the team you're playing underestimates you. We won't be doing that.
Hi, Zara from ITV News. So my colleagues at the Tamworth grounds right now, AstroTurf pitch, apparently the dressing room's barely a cabin. I know you're used to that, but is this going to be a shock to the system for your multi-million-pound players?
They're actually not multi-million-dollar players. They're human beings who are very well they're very understanding. They're good people, so they would never go to a place like that and disrespect it. Most of them have come from places like that, some worse, let me tell you. So you won't find, you know, I know people want to tag them as multi-million-dollar sort of, you know, maybe sport, but they're human beings and they're good people, and they'll go there and they'll respect the fact that, you know, Tamworth are going to build that up for their biggest game of probably their lives, and you know, I'm sure they'll do their best to create an environment where, you know, they're going to be proud of their ground, they're going to be proud of their facilities, because that's what they work with, and that's how we'll treat it on the day. So I don't really think that's an issue for us. What's important for us is to prepare ourselves for you know, an important cup game.
Okay, please.
Hi, Ange. Does this weekend give you an opportunity to play some of the younger players? I'm thinking of Alfie Dorrington, Will Lancashire, and Mikey Moore.
No, it gives me an opportunity to pick a team that I think will win the game of football for us, and the ones who'll play will be the ones that I think you know, will do that. You know, it's good getting Mikey back, obviously, you know, and I think it's important we'll get him some game time on the weekend, but aside from that, it'll be a team that we think most importantly get us through to the next round.
Just on Dorrington, who made his Premier League debut against Southampton last month, just wanted you to just tell us a little bit about him, because some of us, you know, don't know a lot about him. He's only 19 years old. He's now on the bench every week because of the injury situation. Yeah, and you know, Alfie's training with us, and yeah, like he's been part of the first team squad and around the first team squad. He had an injury, a pretty significant one, that kept him out of football for quite a while. So, but yeah, he's part of the squad, and yeah, he probably needs to get some game time, so I'll probably look for a loan for him.
Finish with George, please.
And just spoken about sort of putting a team out to win the game, how kind of conscious are you that certain players, and I think it's sort of to necessity, so many people are they need to be be rested at some point. It's Sunday a good opportunity to kind of keep them a little bit leader at
Yeah,
50 minutes out of the game.
yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, if again, you just got to be mindful of, like I said, we don't want it to kind of turn into a tricky game for us. We want to make sure we play our best. But if we can give some rest to some of those guys, you said, and like I said, having Mikey back helps in that front third for sure. Getting Pape and Matters back helps us in the midfield area. We're still pretty restricted defensively, to be honest. But Sergio Reggie along, at least he's had some games recently, Reggie, so gives us a chance. But in terms of sort of centre halves and right back, we're still pretty limited to what we can do there in terms of rotation. But hopefully we can sort of rest at least a couple of the players from a full sort of 90 minutes of football.
And I wanted to ask you about Radu, dragusin, who I presume is going to play you, given the lack of options. He obviously had a difficult game against Liverpool in that 6-3, playing other players, but he was very good on Wednesday, made the key clearance. How much sort of growth have you seen with him? Because he's 22, isn't he? People forget that, but he's had to be a leader of a very young defence.
Yeah, no, he's look. I've said all along that some of our players at times are getting unfairly sort of judged at the moment because of the situation we're in, and it's not just that Radu's kind of like I say, he's only 22. He's still kind of getting to grips with the Premier League. It'd be okay if he was surrounded by players who are playing regularly, but he's got an 18-year-old who's not a centre back next to him. He's had 3 different goalkeepers since he's been, could be up to 4 now, since he's been in the team. Different fullbacks, and I just think him and Archie have been unbelievable for us, considering the circumstances, and we will get growth from that. I really believe that, and he was great the other night. He really sort of was focused and disciplined in his organisation, and along with obviously Tony making his debut, I think that's as kind of solid as we've been as a back 4, back 5. Well protected though. I thought the midfield did a great job of working really hard to keep sort of Liverpool. I think there won't be many games that Liverpool has created as little as they did the other night, and I think that was a real strong collective effort. But we're happy with Radu. We're happy with the way he's developing, and again he's had to battle some. He had an illness last week. He's nowhere near 100%. He's had to battle through his own, and he's probably one that does need a bit of a rest. But we've got no options there, and every week he kind of mans up and gets on with it.
And just finally from me, this FA Cup makes it 4 competitions you're competing in. How sort of excited are you to be back in this competition? And even though you've got Europa League and more Carabao Cup games, how much is this competition important to you?
Yeah, it is. It's hugely important. Obviously, last year we didn't sort of progress in it after I think we got through the first round, and the third round sort of dropped out. But we want to stay in it, obviously, and. At some point, hopefully over the next sort of few weeks, we'll get players back as well. So, even though it's going to mean a congested sort of fixture schedule for us, I think if we get the players back, we're going to come back. I think we'll be well placed, and we want to stay in the competition. Once we get to that moment where we've got the squad we need, then hopefully we can make an impact in it.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there. Move on to the